I hope you
Anyways, like I said, Donna's hanging out with us today.
Yes, sir.
You know, we like to call this the campsite, you know.
Yeah.
We're all, like I said, we original campers. Post up at the campsite on the Sneak Disc.
All day.
So today we're talking actual sneaker companies. We're talking Nike, we're talking Adidas, we're talking Under Armour, and I guess we're going to talk Jordan Brand. Although Jordan Brand doesn't have the amount of sponsorships and endorsements of athletes as the other brands we're talking about where these brands are actually going, signature models, the athletes that they currently have. Are they actually worth the time and could carry a Nike segment at all? So just to start it off, obviously, we have Nike. I think Nike is going to be making the uniforms for the NBA 2016, 2017. That true?
Yep.
Okay. So we got, obviously, for Nike, you have your LeBron James, your Kyrie Irvings, your Kevin Durant's. And this list that we're saying right now is nothing but athletes that we consider like the most notable. So we have like Dirk Nowitzki, Anthony Davis, Chris Bosh, Paul George, Draymond Green. And you got your ladies, your Diana Taurasi, and you got your Skylar Diggins. And then with your Adidas, you have, what you about to say? What you about to say?
Nothing.
Tell it.
You said the magic words.
Which one?
That's all right.
What, Skylar Diggins?
That's what I said.
Which
Too.
one?
I'm like, Skylar Diggins. Let's say that
I got in trouble by my wife with that.
So did I.
Say that one more
You
time.
know what's funny? I didn't get in trouble. It's just my wife is pregnant right now. So those emotions, she wouldn't care. But hearing your husband get on on something, talking about how. Anyways, let's go ahead and bypass that. I thought you were going to say Diana Taurasi. No? I told you. Me and her, we have something to work out.
Right.
We got beef. No? Like we don't got beef, but she victimized me. All right. And I'm still scarred.
She listens to the show, too.
And man, I hope so, man. You know, she grabbed my booty in a
She's
party
back
one
from
time.
Russia.
You know?
She's back
Shout
from
out.
Russia. The season about to start, or it already did.
Yo, and this was fact. One time at a frat party, Diana Taurasi grabbed my booty, and I turned around and she looked at me and was like, "Yeah." I said, "No." All right. I actually felt victimized. All right.
And then she got that contract, and you were like, yo.
I was looking for her, but anyways, so we have
slipped you
those
that
major
pinky.
players. We got those major. What are you showing? What is that?
You eating all them Reese's right now.
Man,
so I'm
get
showing
that
them
outta here.
Showing them this Reese's cake.
I need that recent.
All right. Anyways, so
That
That
look
looks
good.
bomb.
Adidas. Adidas currently has Derrick Rose, Damian Lillard, James Harden, Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Lowry, Harrison Barnes, Jeff Teague, Serge Ibaka, Ricky Rubio, Tim Duncan, your Candace Parkers, and you have your Under Armour that is currently, from what all I know, is a Steph Curry, who is the greatest basketball player playing right now.
That's all you got to say.
And then your Jordan Brand, you have your Russell Westbrooks, you have your Kawhi Leonard, you have your Andrew Drummonds, you got your
Andre Drummond.
Andre
Shout
Drummond,
out to
excuse me,
Andre.
Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, Blake Griffins, LaMarcus Aldridge, Joe Johnson, Jimmy Butler, Greg Monroe, Victor Oladipo, and Maya Moore. So
The only person you have for Under Armour is Steph.
who else is wearing Under Armour?
That matters.
Yeah, that matters.
He's a golfer.
No. He's on the list.
He's talking about
I'm
basketball.
talking about basketball
Oh.
right now. So strictly basketball. Is anybody in either one of these brands going to make an impact to carry the brand?
No.
For basketball? Nobody?
Not current. Kobe will carry.
There's not a-
Nike.
But we
There's
can't.
not
Well,
a-
I'm no
you
longer
can't-
counting anybody
okay,
retired.
alright,
I'm not
okay.
counting actual Jordan. I'm
There's
not
not
counting
a single
Kobe.
person who's being paid by a shoe manufacturer right now where the shoe manufacturer is making money on their sponsorship. Period.
And I
all
don't-
these brands are losing money, but they don't care because it's a drop in the bucket compared to what they make just from sales of everything else.
I could not imagine, and I could be wrong because we're only. I mean, this is Steph's like second great year, but I couldn't imagine people lining up for an Under Armour Stephen Curry shoe.
It's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. But will other athletes? So this is the thing. Will other athletes come out of college, come out of anywhere, and actually make Under Armour a major player?
Well, it's one of those things where, like Cal, for example, Cal just signed with Under Armour college basketball. I think the whole program did, but last year from Nike, I think they were getting $600,000 or something like that from Under Armour. Their new contract is $3.5 million annually. Sorry, $600,000 I think annually, and now $3.5 million, and that's just cash in addition to all the product. So that's 6 times as much money going from Nike to Under Armour. Part of the reason is Under Armour's got to pay more to get your services.
True.
No one's going to sign with Under Armour if Nike's paying you the same thing or something close. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's
Why
like
is
any brand coming up, you got to pay the cost to be the boss.
So y'all still feel Nike is dominant when it comes to basketball? Nike's dominant brand is basketball.
Let me ask you this: if you were coming out of college in
It's
any
different.
sport,
It's different.
no,
now.
no, I'm just saying, if you were coming out of college in any sport, and all four companies, we'll throw Reebok in there. So Reebok, Adidas, Under Armour, and Nike give you the $20 million a year. Who are you picking? It's $20 million no matter which one of the companies. Just based off brand alone, who are you going with?
It's always going to be Nike.
Well,
always.
See, that's who you guys would go with.
That's how I'm
100%
going with
always
Nike.
going to be Nike.
But you know why we would go with Nike? And because it was just brought up before. We're all 80s. Like
That's true.
I couldn't deter from it. Like if you look at it right now, a Nike isn't making like the most attractive stuff right now. Not to me, as far as sneakers basketball wise. Not to me.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Like what?
What are you talking about? Kobe 10.
I'm not talking about
whatever
Kobe.
it is,
We're not
11.
talking- Kobe's
That's
gone.
a Nike shoe.
You're right. But Kobe's gone. I'm talking about the current roster right now. Would you look at a current roster and say, man, you guys got Kyrie Irving, you have Anthony Davis.
You're talking about wearable shoes on the court, though. I'm not talking about
I'm
performance.
not, I don't know about wearable
aesthetics.
shoes on the court. I don't know about that.
I thought
Like
that's what you just said.
I'm saying like who would you sign with?
It's always going to be Nike because when you think of
You said they're not making good aesthetically pleasing shoes for the
For the
Nike
eye.
basketball brand. Yeah, they are. Kobe 11 is the best basketball shoe on the market.
We're
right
gonna act
now.
like Kobe's are gone. All right.
Okay.
I'm talking about the current roster. Can they carry basketball to say we're like you're coming out of college? You're like, wow, you guys got Anthony Davis, you got Kyrie Irving.
Are
That's
you
a part of
asking
a
if
roster
people
I
are
want to see.
buying an Anthony Davis shoe?
There is no
that-
such thing.
Okay, well there will be.
There's a
is
PE.
Is that what you're
There's-
asking?
Will
or-
there be? There's not going to be.
I
doubt it.
mean,
I doubt it. There's
He-
not going to be. That's the problem with a Nike roster. There's only 3 people on this list that I just said who have an actual signature shoe from Nike. That's it. There's only 3.
But there's like
no,
less,
there's
less people
Oh, so
on
you're not
Adidas.
including Kobe. There's 4. You're
Well,
not
based-
including
yeah,
Kobe.
based
I'm
on
no-
this list, there's
anybody
3.
retire. I'm
The
not
top
going to
3.
include.
Yeah, Jordan's retired a long time ago.
I'm not
Still
going to say
making
Jordan.
Jordans.
Yeah, but I'm not going to include Jordan.
But they're not going to stop making Kobe's.
They might not, but I'm talking about if I'm a Ben Simmons, like we talked about last week.
Yeah.
If I'm a Ben Simmons,
I think he already signed with Nike, by the way.
of course he did, which is ridiculous because you see him everywhere wearing Yeezys. Like,
True.
What does Adidas make basketball-wise that you want to wear? Crazy light, low? Maybe that's it. What do you want to wear on the court from Adidas? Nothing. There's nothing.
Listen,
Not
so
the
like
actual
you said, Ben Simmons has already signed with the Nike. Is that a
Yeah,
smart
he got $100
move?
million. On whose part? On Nike's part, from financial standpoint, no, because they're not going to recoup the $100 million. But again, it's not about that.
What's it about?
From whose perspective? From the company perspective. This look, and this is someone who, hopefully, at some point we can get on the show. But Matt Powell and a lot of people in the sneaker business don't like him. I shouldn't say sneaker business. Sneaker collectors don't like him because he's blunt about a lot of their favorite dudes. Like he'll tell you straight up, Kanye West may be an influence to sneakerheads. He is not an influencer in a commercial sense, period, because they're not making 1 million pairs of Kanye shoes. They're not making 1 million sweaters. They're not making so in other words, we need to have him on the show. But he gets the real statistics from these companies about the production numbers, how many they're selling, what they're making. And he said this on Twitter many times. No company outside of Michael Jordan, obviously, because Nike made more money in the first 4 months that Jordan 1 released than they thought they were going to make in the entire life of his contract. Outside of Michael Jordan, none of these companies are recouping what they're paying these athletes. Now, now this is just from a sneaker perspective. If you talk about Tiger Woods or something like that, maybe with golf clubs and shirts and everything else, maybe he has made Nike money. None of these other dudes are. It doesn't matter if it's Ben Simmons, LeBron Jr., whenever he gets to, whatever his name is when he gets to the league.
Whatever his name is.
I don't know if it's LeBron the second. I don't know if he has a different name.
LeBron Part 2.
But
So none of you guys see Adidas becoming a major player in basketball.
Never.
For Adidas,
that's a different question.
Never.
I mean,
Never.
it depends what their next. They need to make a Boost shoe that's the equivalent of the Ultra Boost, and then yes, they will.
You know
For-
what? Even
They have
if they
plenty of Boost basketball shoes.
even if they make
Nothing
a
that's
boost,
like that.
it's Nike. The name is always going to be synonymous with the best when it comes to basketball. The Adidas is never taking over Nike. As long as Jordan's alive, Jordan's always connected to Nike. Even though I know they're separate entities, they're always connected in somehow. LeBron is always going to be connected to Nike. Kobe's always going to be connected to Nike. there's no way Adidas is ever, in my opinion, taking over Nike.
In basketball.
Or
at all.
I think in general, because like he said with Tiger Woods, like I can attest to the fact that Tiger Woods is made Nike millions. People are paying $130 for a polo, $200 for some pants, $90 for a belt. You know what I'm saying? Nike is always going to be over Adidas when it comes to.
But doesn't that like cater to like a different public? Like the people you're talking about buying these $130 polos, they're not the ones out there
sneaker
copying.
collectors.
Well, I'm just talking about as far as golf. In general, I think Nike is everyone always wants Nike first. Nike is always going to be synonymous with everything at the top when it comes to basketball, when it comes to football. I mean, look, they just overtook Adidas for NBA jerseys. You know what I'm saying? Like they're always going to be, in my opinion, number one. I don't see them. I mean, personally, I don't see them coming over Adidas or Adidas coming over Nike anytime soon.
The only market they beat Nike in right now is soccer, and that makes sense because soccer is
clearly
on a global scale a lot bigger than any other sport.
Besides that,
Adidas made the first, I imagine, maybe not the first, but they were. Adidas has been around a lot longer than Nike has.
Well, who currently has the strongest roster as far as Adidas?
All sports?
Adidas basketball, Nike basketball.
Were you talking about basketball only or all
basketball
sports?
only?
Well, of course, Nike.
Are
basketball.
You think Nike does?
Are you talking about
LeBron James,
Are you talking about putting a 5-on-5 or something?
Yeah,
like that?
I was gonna
because
say,
if
like-
you do, then Jordan Brand is probably number one.
I was gonna say, are you talking about?
I would say a Jordan Brand.
But that's also
athlete-wise,
Nike. Phil Knight's eating off Jordan Brand.
I mean,
so,
it is. But which is why I didn't even include Jordan Brand on the list. Because,
you have to because you got to talk about those players.
Yeah, I mean,
Chris Paul is the best point. I know. Okay, Steph. Let's take Steph out of the equation because he's not necessarily a pure point guard. I don't know what his assist numbers were, but probably 7, 8 a game, something like that. Chris Paul is the best pure point guard in the NBA, hands down. Period. Every single year for the last
What do you think?
5, 6
Over
years.
Westbrook?
Yeah. Yes,
Westbrook's not
yes,
a
he
pure
is.
point guard though.
You can look at. I'm not talking about the basic number, like counting stats, like points.
Chris
and all that
Paul
kind of stuff. I'm talking
is the
about.
best leader point guard.
If you're going
I'm talking
strictly
about
100% point guard,
advanced statistics. Chris Paul and Westbrook are not even close. They're not even in the same stratosphere. Chris Paul is the best. Period.
Did Westbrook play point guard at UCLA?
I mean, combo guard.
Combo?
Yeah, more.
Because wasn't he there
combo
at the same time as Collison? I think Collison was running point then.
guard. I'd have to go back and look.
think
I'm
so.
sure he
But
was.
he's not a natural point
Farmar
guard.
was there too.
That's right,
and
Jordan
Kevin
Farmar.
Love. They had good players.
So, as an athlete, fresh out of college, nobody else with regards to basketball would even jump in your mind besides Nike.
No, Adidas
You're
would be
saying
a close second.
if I was going to sign with someone.
Adidas would?
It depends.
Why not Under Armour?
It depends. See, okay, now here's another thing that you should consider is look at Steph. All the injuries he had with his ankles, shins, whatever else, feet. You need to. I can't speak for Ben Simmons. I don't know if he just was like, "Oh, Nike, give me $100 million. I'm gonna sign with them." He may have tried on 4 different shoes, made sure because you got to remember when an NBA player gets a sneaker, they get insoles that are molded to their foot. They get.
I'm not even like necessarily talking about performance wise.
No. It's not about that though. It's about injuries. Like if you like Andre Drummond, for example, he can't wear certain shoes on the court because his foot is too wide. He plays in dub zeros. You know how heavy dub zeros are?
He does.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
And if you think about it too, like Under Armour is new to the basketball world. Like when you think Under Armour, you think, training, working out, lifting, things like that. You don't necessarily think basketball.
The Rock.
That's what exactly. So when you think
Which
basketball,
we'll talk about.
you think Nike, you think Adidas, you think Reebok. Not even necessarily Reebok. You think Nike, you think Adidas. So I don't see Under Armour anytime soon. No matter how good Curry is, no matter how many MVPs he grabs, right? You think basketball, you think Nike. Firsthand all the time. You think the commercials.
You don't think winners?
Under Armour's going to sign more guys. There's no doubt about that.
They may sign more guys,
sign
but
more guys. I mean,
like-
that's what Steph Curry's doing for him, but they're going to have to pay more, which is what I said earlier. Depending on how medically or what physiology wise a shoe fits your foot, Curry obviously Under Armour did wonders for him. They keep him on the court. Nike couldn't keep him on the court, so he has said he owes everything to Under Armour for being able to play and do all this stuff.
Have you been watching the playoffs lately or no? You have?
Keeping up with it. Why?
because he hasn't been on the court for all the games. So
Okay, well that had nothing to do with an Under Armour shoe.
Hey,
that was
I'm
a,
just
that was a
saying.
knee injury, not a.
it wasn't before that.
Not a foot injury.
Not before that. Before that, it was ankle.
So the question, though, if you're a young kid fresh out of college and you're met with 4 opportunities, do you really think you're going to even think about Under Armour over Nike? Honestly, even let's say 5 years down the road, they sign 4 or 5 incredible players and every single one of them get a ring. Are you still personally going to say, well, Under Armour
No,
had 4
my
people.
favorite basketball shoe is a Kobe basketball shoe. So I would sign with Nike if they could give me something similar to Kobe. But
Exactly, but to that question,
That's
though,
me
to
personally.
answer it, you're always going to say Nike. I think everybody's always going to say, because Nike is established. Granted, Adidas has been here longer, but Nike is basketball, is
Again,
life, is football, is baseball, is basketball.
you have to remember though. Like I said, these guys are everything is based upon their health. You know, with legs and feet and hands and whatnot.
Yeah.
The shoe makes a big difference. So maybe I should take a step back. So watching YouTube videos and whatnot about stuff that goes on in locker rooms and what the equipment manager is in charge of, that kind of thing, you see what goes into the fit for the right shoe for some of these guys. Not everyone's the same. If you're talking about cultural-wise, obviously Nike owns a market share in everything.
Yeah.
So Nike is on a pedestal for most guys compared to whatever. You see how many kids go to Nike schools because they can wear Jordans on the court. You go to an Adidas school, an Under Armour school, you can't do that. So, but it becomes a business decision when you go from college to the NBA. And I don't mean business from a money standpoint. I mean, can you stay on the court? Can you get a second shoe deal? The first shoe deal, unless you're getting $100 million like Ben Simmons, probably doesn't matter for most guys. You're talking about the top 1/10 of 1% or whatever it works out to who get that $100 million deal.
Yeah.
So then we all agree Nike, as far as basketball, is just supreme.
I mean, Adidas could be there, but Adidas to me invests in the wrong athletes. I mean,
It's hard to say that, though.
But out of the guys that they have on their roster, the 2 guys that had shoes, like actual shoes with their names on it, are Derrick Rose and John Wall, who just left.
And look
Well,
what happened.
Dwight Howard, too.
Damian
Dwight
Lillard.
Howard.
Damian Lillard.
And okay, sorry.
Yeah,
D.
he's
Lillard.
popular now because Rose got hurt and is terrible,
Yeah.
and Dwight Howard's not wearing him anymore. Lillard wasn't, you know.
But I mean, if they had like a nice like James Harden shoe with Boost technology and a Wiggins shoe instead of them just wearing the crazy lights with their emblem on it, I think like they would sell a lot better.
See, I think the problem with Adidas is when it comes to basketball, like getting a Wiggins and things like that is a great sign. The problem is that you're getting players, you're grabbing players that are on teams that always have lottery picks.
I don't think the problem is the player. The problem is the product. They don't. What does Adidas have that makes anyone want to
Well,
buy
yeah,
or
'cause think
wear
about
from
it.
a
Derrick-
basketball standpoint?
Derrick
Boost.
Rose at one point was the number one
the
player.
shoe, not
and
the-
look what happened.
Not the technology. The Boost technology is incredible.
Well,
they
no.
don't have a shoe
Well,
that
like what-
anyone wants to wear.
Well, like you said, what they need is they need a basketball shoe
Yeah,
that incorporates boosts and
it
the
needs to be on the cultural level with
the
Ultra Boost.
the te-
I
yeah,
don't
the
know
Ultra
if you
Boost
can.
mesh.
I mean, obviously, we don't know if you can do that. I honestly couldn't even imagine cutting left and right wearing a full length Ultra Boost.
No, I'm not even
wore-
saying that. I'm just saying something that's as aesthetically as pleasing in basketball as an Ultra Boost is to running.
Last night I wore the Crazy Lights to play in, the ones with the Prime Knit upper. It was more comfortable than my Jordan 29, which the Jordan 29 was the most comfortable shoe I'd had since the Kobe 8. I mean, it was a great shoe. It was really comfortable and it was like amazing to play in. But you know, it's a shoe that I bought for $40.
I think the problem with people is they look at it as like, oh man, Nike is just tight. Nike is going to give
Because-
me something tight.
Because that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
It's not about the
I
how
think
the
that
shoe
sucks.
Yeah, it is. But
It does suck. But I mean, look at who's designing for Nike as opposed to like, you know, what Adidas has been designing. I mean, Nike has a history of having great
right.
products, and all these kids. I mean, like Ben Simmons probably grew up playing in Nike.
So who are we talking about right now? You talking about kids that were like gonna sign with schools or?
I mean,
anybody.
just coming out of
Well,
college.
it doesn't matter for some people.
Coming
Some
out of
people,
college,
that's
current
obviously true.
rosters.
I mean, obviously there are people who love Nike and don't care.
So then
very-
we'll
I'm very
agree.
biased.
So then could we agree
But if you're
that
talking
winning
about-
doesn't matter?
It doesn't.
Because nobody on Nike's roster is winning.
It doesn't matter.
Nobody.
winning doesn't matter as far as
Cavs are
what.
pretty.
Okay, now a Kyrie is where he might be Nike wise because strictly because of LeBron is there. I don't think Kyrie would have a signature shoe if LeBron wasn't there at all.
He had. I mean, yeah, he didn't
Because
have a
that
signature.
D Wade contract with that Wow whatever, he makes $100 million too.
Yeah.
All right, I don't think it would have popped off like that if LeBron was never in Miami like that.
Because Kyrie before was wearing what, Hyper Revs?
He was wearing like just whatever.
Yeah, whatever Nike. Yeah, but no, I agree. I would agree that
And then you have like a Chris Bosh who's going to be. out.
You saying winning doesn't matter to Nike? Is that what you're saying?
No,
To-
no, I
No,
mean like
to
to,
the bra- to
athletes, like to the brand,
coming.
like the company
Yeah.
itself, and like an athlete who wants to join.
Well, yeah, in general, because look, they keep
Why
giving
would
Kevin.
that-
They keep giving Kevin Durant a shoe, and he doesn't have a ring yet.
True.
or are you
Oh,
talking?
yeah,
are
you're talking
are
about
you-
from the company's
Talking from the
perspective.
company perspective.
Oh, okay. You're not.
Like, do
talking
you guys
about-
ever see like a Kevin Durant winning a ring?
No,
Absolutely.
You do.
when
They might win one this year. Number
Yeah,
one.
that's actually a fact.
But they-
so we'll
but if-
hold off on
but if-
that.
but if
they
not-
might win one. They're up 3-2 against the Spurs.
I want to
right
come
now.
back for that.
No one thought they would win last night.
I'm
I
gonna come
didn't.
back
Let's
for
put it
that.
way.
I didn't think they were going to win last night
So
in San Antonio.
he might win one this year. I doubt
It's
it. And we already made our NBA picks, so you
I
guys
thought
know who I think is
that
going to win.
I
But
thought San Antonio was gonna win the series in
wash
5.
them last night.
6.
I did too.
Maybe.
Okay, so then do you
But
see?
he can leave and go to Golden State, to San Antonio, to Cleveland,
Right.
to wherever, and obviously they're be front runners for the championship.
You think Anthony Davis gets a ring?
I
He's
do,
gotta
I do,
go.
because I
No.
think at one point he will be. Now it'll be tough with Steph
His
in the
contract
league.
is like 10 years.
I think Anthony Davis at one point we will say he is the best player in the
Yeah,
NBA.
he needs to come to Phoenix first.
Ooh, you think so? I think he has
Absolutely.
that potential and it's shown us. The problem is
And
he can't stay healthy.
The only person I think who could keep him from being the best player in the NBA is Karl Anthony Towns because
He's going to be good.
incredible as a rookie.
But the problem with Karl Anthony Towns is he's in Minnesota. All right? Minnesota can't seem to get anything together. That's another discussion.
Minnesota's gonna figure it out real soon.
They need an actual veteran coach to figure it out. All right. So basketball wise, we're gonna agree Nike is dominating, sneaker wise,
Absolutely.
endorsement wise, basketball wise.
I agree.
All right. Football. Football's a hard one. All right.
Football's
Because
a super hard one.
There's
Is
not a Jordan in football. This is the thing.
Well-
This is the thing when it comes to shoes. Kids who grow up, there are 3 big circuits in AAU right now in basketball: Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Typically, depending on how the relationship is with you, your coach, whoever, to that shoe company, you're going to go to a school that also wears that brand. That's just how AAU and college basketball is working right now. Because kids would love Nike, they want to wear Jordans on the court when they
could
go
kill
to
that.
college.
I plan on it.
That's part of the allure of going to a Nike school is being able to wear Jordans. But in football, it's different because you could, I guess, find a Jordan cleat somewhere, but you can't go to like Syracuse and put Jordan 5 on and play
Right.
football like you could in basketball. So in football, it's different. The companies are on much more level playing field because there's no Michael Jordan in the NFL or in football history, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, that's true. I mean, I think of a Jordan cleat. When I think of a Jordan cleat first, I think of baseball, to be honest with you. But you do have your Jordan cleat athletes. You have your Des Bryants.
Yeah.
You have your Earl Thomas. Gosh, who else is on here? You have your
Woodson, Seawood. He was the
Andre
first
Johnson.
one.
Who?
Seawood,
Oh,
Charles
yeah.
Woodson
He
was
was
the first one to do it.
Him, Randy Moss.
Moss.
Like the original Jordan cleat wearers back in the day.
From the
Dion
beginning.
was wearing Jordan cleats first.
No, he wasn't.
Dion had his own deal.
Dion had his own shoe.
Dion wore
He may have
Jordan 11 cleats. Dion wore.
He may have had a custom, but
He
yeah.
wore those when he like signed with the Ravens. He had a cleat in like 4th grade when I was in 4th grade.
No, but I'm saying like Dion was like the first football
Randy
athlete
Moss
that I
was.
remember wearing Jordans.
Randy
Well,
Moss.
I'm sorry, Randy Moss. Yeah, I was
Donovan
thinking
McNabb.
retros. Yes.
Donovan McNabb,
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Seawood was in the league before
Charles
both
Woodson.
those guys.
No, they were like the original Jordan football athletes.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them are great athletes. All right. All 3, McNabb included. All right. Might be the greatest Philadelphia quarterback ever. Now, he didn't win a Super Bowl, but he might be their best quarterback ever. Disrespected. All right. Now, he's obviously a drunk, but he's a good. Anyways.
Ooh.
All right. McNabb?
McNabb.
McNabb is a good person.
I know he's a good person. I used to talk to him when he used to come work at Phoenix College. I know McNabb. He's a friend of mine. Actually, he's not. So,
Oh,
but I've talked to him many times. All right, I actually talked to him watching a movie at
Most people
Harkins.
are probably indifferent on that. Yeah.
Which is, I don't, okay, that's another topic for another day. So, football wise, you have Adidas, you got your Aaron Rodgers, your Ryan Tannehills, your DeMarco Murrays. I don't think Adidas even has a try in football, like as far as like professional wise, sponsor wise.
If you ask me,
On defense,
Under Armour's got it in football.
Under Armour has it in football.
Click clap.
As far as I'm concerned.
They got the reigning MVP and they got Tom Brady. I don't know what.
Yeah, but the problem is that, like, okay, this is how I put it up with Adidas. When I think of Adidas right now, I think of Adidas as just like, they're just cool. Like, Adidas is just cool now. Like, they're like the leader of just being cool. All right.
Well,
For the most
part.
yes, it's because
For the most part.
But you're talking again about runners. You're talking about it's not like that in basketball and football. You're talking about culturally what's aesthetically pleasing from a fashion and streetwear standpoint. Kanye, Pharrell, and Ultra Boost and NMD. Absolutely, those things are blowing out stores. But when you're talking about sports,
when you're talking about
story.
performance, like I said before, I don't see Adidas ever overtaking Nike. I just don't, performance-wise. Again, like we said, cultural, I get it.
Right.
But performance-wise, I don't see Adidas taking over Nike. I just don't. And it's not because I'm a Nike lover. It's just I honestly don't see it. See just Adidas saying, okay, you know what, we're number one now. Because, again, with football, Nike's got football jerseys, you know? So I just don't see when you have Adidas or NFL, you say Adidas first. You're going to say Nike. You're going to.
I mean, yes, I guess.
For the
I don't
most
think
part.
when you're talking about football, I don't think it's like I said, it's a level playing field. I don't think it's that.
So you don't think Nike athletes in
Obvious.
football are like, I mean, we're talking about some great athletes.
What do you mean?
Calvin Johnson.
I mean, they have, Kevin Johnson's retired.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I mean,
Explain what you're
like,
saying.
Josh Gordon.
let's say if I'm coming out of college. Like, I was surprised that the wide receiver out of Cleveland, Adidas signed to Adidas. Shaq Lawson assigned to Adidas. I had no idea. But then Jordan Brand has Jalen Ramsey and homeboy Corey Coleman. Who was that? Is that the wide receiver
Browns.
from the
Yeah,
Browns?
first
Okay,
wide receiver.
wide receiver of the Browns. So, like,
Joe Hayden.
Joe Hayden Jordan?
Yep.
Dookie.
He's like officially Jordan?
Yeah.
Joe Hayden isn't Dookie.
You must not have watched him play last year.
Well,
He was hurt half of last year.
He was awful last year.
He was hurt.
it was really
He
weird.
was awful.
Well,
Okay.
either way, okay. You got Des Bryant. You have
Their roster is very good in football.
Their roster is very good. And Under Armour has a Julio Jones, a Brandon Marshall, a Randall Cobb, who was awful last year. Actually, maybe not awful. Randall Cobb should have been better. A Julio Jones might be the best wide
All
receiver.
Green Bay's receivers were awful last year.
Right.
They had one who got injured, who was their number one guy, and then they had to bring James Jones in.
The
But then
Raiders
you
are
look
going
at-
2-14.
But then you say like a Under Armour.
Boing!
You look at an Under Armour as a leader because they have Tom Brady and they have Cam Newton. Cam Newton just brings the cool to Under Armour. He's just cool.
The funniest part is the shoes that he wear actually suck. All right.
Well, the
They are
cleats. I don't know what
yeah.
shoe wise he.
No,
I mean, the cleats are
cleats.
fine. They're just high.
They're
like
terrible.
Yeah.
I don't really know if you could have a terrible cleat. Like it's a cleat.
It's a cleat.
Like
They're terrible.
I mean, what's a good cleat? Like what's a cleat? Like
I
Jordan
mean, I don't know.
4
People
softball
go crazy for like what
Jordan
Des
12
Bryant
cleat.
wears. So I mean,
yeah, but see, having a basketball shoe turn into a cleat.
There's still an aesthetic part. Why do you think he buys Jordan cleats? I mean, you
Okay,
bought Jordan.
you have Jordan cleats.
I have a pair of one
Yes.
pair, not multiple like him.
Ryan has home, away, and alternate. All right.
He
Yes.
owned multiples probably before he just went and bought those
That's
four.
probably
So we can put him in a different category. But there still is an aesthetic with Jordan cleats. I don't think there's an aesthetic with Nike cleats or anything like that. When you talk about cultural,
If you're talking about football, no. Soccer, Jordan cleats are. I mean, Nike cleats are awesome. All right.
Yes.
I mean, sure. So are
mean-
Adidas cleats though.
When with Calvin's cleats, over half the league was wearing Calvin's cleats when he had his cleats. All the Nike athletes wore Calvin cleats.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about
Larry
that. I'd have to
Fitzgerald.
go-
I ain't never
a
seen Larry
lot
Fitzgerald
of
wearing
people.
Calvin cleats.
A lot of people wore Calvin cleats.
But see, when I look at a Nike roster as
I
far
don't
as
know about
football, I look at like a Ben Roethlisberger, who is great. He's a cool cat. Now he has a little side stuff that's a problem.
His issues.
But like, if I'm a football player, I look at like what's cool. Like I just do. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't think I had any idea Aaron Rodgers was with the Packers. I mean, with Adidas. I don't think I had any idea, like at all. I think State Farm.
Well, there aren't very many football commercials. You got to keep that in mind. Or if there are, that's like combined. Like Nike started to do a lot of stuff where they have like Ronaldo kick the ball to like, and then it turns into a football and someone catches it, and then someone throws a football and it turns into a basketball and
Well,
someone
then think
shoots
about it
or
too.
whatever,
How
you know what I
many
mean? So they
football
got multiple
players?
people.
How many football players actually have personality? You know, like a Deion Sanders, or just back
That's
in the
true.
day. Like the only one that's got personality is what's it, Odell. He's what I'm saying. He's
Right.
rocking with Drake. He's got the crazy hair. He's doing. How many football players actually have a standout personality?
And
That's
that's a good point. Why does a Victor Cruz have a signature shoe that is kind of winning a little bit? Why him? Because he doesn't play football.
He's
'cause he
always
had-
been involved in fashion
had
and whatnot.
one great
but he
season.
did play football very well for
Right.
years.
But
so.
Deion's are probably what I could think of. I mean, I guess if you want to say Bo Jackson's, I guess. But I don't, Bo Jackson was just a strictly trainer. When I think of a first football shoe, I think of Deion's, okay? I think of that as the
Veers.
Well, that came out after Deion's, though. Veers came out when I was in, like...
That might be the best football shoe of all time.
Okay, you hate Veers. I had
As a
Veers.
football, yes, because you're talking about sneaker. You're not talking about a football cleat.
I'm talking about
when those first came out as a cleat,
You
fire.
wore 'em.
Yes, I wore them to school. Yes.
You wore 'em to school, you was
Simple,
clacking.
Simple had them. He definitely had them.
Clacking down the hallway.
Fire.
So,
Best cleat ever, maybe.
but see, that's the thing when you think of, like, football. Like, does it even matter who's on a football roster for Adidas or anybody? Because they're not
No,
getting
I
a shoe.
I just told you. The only one that
know.
matters from aesthetic standpoint are the guys with Jordan Brand. Everyone wants what Des Bryant wears.
Yep.
Even
And
the
Earl Thomas.
even the players want that stuff. But
That's true.
But Jordan doesn't sign them.
I will say that. So, I think we might have to sit there and say Jordan might be the best aesthetic-wise, Jordan-wise, and they might have the best athletes.
And I mean, I don't know if there is a performance
I don't think so either. I don't know.
factor in
I wouldn't
football.
know.
Like it's not like we've ever tested anything, but like
Oh, I
a
tested
basketball shoe. Okay, like a basketball shoe. I don't know if there is a performance issue because obviously wearing Jordan 6 lows on the field are doing nothing for Des Bryant. All right, there's not a performance thing in that shoe. It's just aesthetic. And
It's just the
all the
Jordan 6
cleats
on top
that-
of cleats.
Yes, it's a low, but yeah, all the cleats that skill guys are wearing are all low anyways. So there's no,
That's true.
now if Adidas puts Boost in a cleat, then we might be talking about something different. You
They
never know.
have Boost in cleats, just not football yet. As I know.
I mean, yeah, Nike's done lunar baseball cleats. I don't know if they've done lunar football cleats.
Right. Well, I think we could safely say that Jordan might have the best aesthetic-wise. I think if I was a college athlete coming out and Jordan wanted me to sign, I would definitely sign. So I think like Jalen Ramsey and
Absolutely.
homeboy wide receiver out of Cleveland Brown made the right decision. It really doesn't matter who you sign with cleat-wise. It's just what looks the best. Nobody's out there copping cleats. And if they grab a signature shoe, awesome. But like we said, there's a few other sports. Soccer, I think we could agree Adidas is like dominating soccer. We can
Yes,
agree with that.
absolutely.
Now,
They got the
when you
best player
think
in
of
the
like
world.
tennis, I think Nike is dominating tennis. You got Roger Federer, you got Serena Williams. That's just
The only
That's all you gotta say?
That's all you gotta say.
The
That's all you gotta
only
say.
exclusive shoes you can think of, or the only, you guys don't like when I use PE, but the only model. What's the terminology
what that
for it?
Federer.
Well, I'm just saying where someone has their own model. What's that? What's terminology?
Signature sneaker?
Yeah, there
I'd
you
say
go. The only
signature. Yeah.
signature.
The Roger
yeah.
Federer and the 3 he made. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Serena's got one, Federer's got one, and then Nadal had one. I
and
don't
then you
know.
got the Agassi
I don't know
throwback.
who
The
Jo-
Agassi,
yeah.
that
Agassi
alone
throwback.
right there. It's,
And McEnroe too had that trainer way back in the
You
day.
guys had that in the Nike store. That macro, there's the original one in that glass
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
box.
So I'd say Nike hands
and I don't.
down.
I don't
So I
know
think they're
who
dominating that.
But what about
Djokovic is with.
Stan Smith?
Oh, Djokovic is with Adidas.
Stan Smith,
There are iconic old tennis shoes. Absolutely.
Rob Laver.
Rod Lavers were flames back in the day. I used to wear those.
Rod Lavers are still flames.
Okay,
man.
you pick up a Rod Laver next time you see it, and it weighs more than your body.
Yeah, but I ain't jumping nowhere, so it don't matter. I'm just walking down the street.
Okay, go pick one up. I'm
I
just
don't
gonna say.
understand what were you doing in Rod Lavers. Like it doesn't matter how heavy they are.
I wasn't doing anything.
So that you can still
He was
wear
doing-
them.
he was doing
If you're
CrossFit.
walking around wearing a Jordan 4, you can wear a Rod Laver.
Okay, go pick a Rod Laver up.
All right.
Trust
You
me.
must have picked up like CrossFit
Yeah.
version. He must have been waiting.
Yes.
'Cause I don't know what you're talking
It was a
about.
steel toe Rod Laver.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the steel toe. All right, so we can
You-
agree on those sports.
You don't even do cardio. It doesn't matter what you wear.
That's
All right.
true.
It looks like you haven't been doing cardio either in a while, so you need to chill out.
looking
You
real
bring,
rough,
you
bro.
bring a lot of coke and candy in here.
And didn't even
I
share it.
be at the gym every day.
And didn't even share it. Yo.
Oh, he brought a bag of candy, a bag of Halloween candy, and a bag of Coca-Cola. We worried. We worried about you. Golf. Not the most popular topic. I love golf.
Tiger Woods.
Not even a question. Tiger Woods, Nike.
Yes, but he doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't matter.
But you're talking about Under Armour,
I don't know
who has
if you ask
winners.
Me, if you ask me, the best golf shoe that has probably ever is that new Rory McIlroy shoe that came out.
You have that?
No, I didn't buy it. Too expensive. But that
Did you
shoe
try it on?
is super dope. No.
How you know that? Huh?
How do you
What
know?
do you mean? I'm
You
talking
mean
about
visually?
aesthetics. Yes.
You played
I don't
18
know
in
about
it?
that, man.
What?
Those Boost ones that we saw at Adidas are pretty nice.
Yeah, those Dustin Johnsons. Yeah, those are nice.
Now, who has the best roster of golfers?
Under Armour.
Under Armour
I don't
has
even- I
the
don't even
best
care.
roster of golfers.
If one guy,
Facts.
Spieth, makes that done for me. I wonder who. I don't see him anywhere on here, but the hottest golfer in the last pause, by the way, in the last year and a half is probably Jason Day, and I don't see him on here, so I don't know if Jason Day doesn't have a shoe
Might be Adidas.
deal or.
He's on Adidas.
Actually, he
He's
is
right
Adidas.
here.
All right,
Adidas.
so maybe Adidas is better than because they have
But they got Dustin Johnson. They got Mike
DJ
Weir.
and Jason Day right there. That top two is probably the best top two.
I think
Those
I'm
are two of the top three golfers in the world right now, and Spieth is the other one.
Yeah. So who you give golf
Oh,
to?
well, I guess McIlroy's up there too.
Who golf goes to?
Nike.
Oh, man. Go back to sleep.
If you're talking about all time, it's Nike because of Tiger. But right now, who has the best players?
Who is the best players on
Adidas.
golf? Adidas.
They have two of the top four.
I guess so.
Nike's got one and Under Armour's got one. But
All right.
Spieth is my favorite golfer of all of them, so I'm partial to Under Armour.
And then we have,
And Don doesn't
obviously.
care.
Don's like,
I'm just pouring my Grey Goose
well,
over
let me
here.
get this Grey Goose
know what I
with this
mean?
golf.
Yes, sir.
All right, so obviously, I think we're gonna agree that as far as like NCAA football and basketball, as far as like
Nike,
sponsorship,
it's not even close.
Nike dominates. I mean, if you have the big 10, however many that is, you got your LSU's, your Oklahomas, your Alabamas, your Clemson, you got your
USC.
Florida States, your Florida Gators, your USC's. You're gonna dominate. I mean, they're
One thing that is interesting, though, is Michigan just signed a deal to be the first Jordan brand football team. So
Which
I
could be
think
kinda
that's going to
tight.
be pretty cool.
because
And I wonder if Charles Woodson had anything to do with that because I see a natural
that's a
connection.
good point. That's a good point. Let me tell you something. Their uniforms come out there looking nice. Michigan probably has the most. I would say if I had to think of a which we might have to do,
There's a lot of them.
a
though, that are
top
like
uniform.
That. There's a lot
Michigan is a classic uniform.
Well, yeah, but
All right.
so is Alabama, so is USC.
So
There's
is
a lot of
USC.
like not busy uniforms that
OSU.
are just like two colors.
OSU.
Penn State. I mean, same kind
Penn
of thing.
State.
There's a lot of teams that have those like just two colors, like
Right.
maize and blue, Alabama crimson and white,
But well, you
Penn
can't.
State blue and white,
well,
navy and white. You know what I mean?
You can't
Like,
tell me that a Jordan.
You see the helmets too. You know exactly what it is.
I mean, you got a Harbaugh there right
That
now.
is gonna look dope.
You got a Harbaugh there right now.
I can't stand when schools sign with Adidas, man. It disgusts me
Why?
because their product is inferior.
Based off of what?
What do you mean based off?
Well,
of
how
what?
wasn't a jersey inferior?
I'm not talking about the clothing. I'm talking about if you're talking about basketball, Adidas basketball is inferior.
Okay, their
right now.
warm up jackets might be whack compared to like a Nike. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
even talking about that. I'm talking
What
about
are you talking
sneakers.
I don't know, man. I have to play in them.
You must have your eyes clouded by Kanye right now or something because
Nah.
you've been on this
Hey,
Adidas
man.
kick. You need to chill out.
Adidas is cool. All right.
Yes.
You know what? I'm focused
Their
more.
runners are
Okay,
all right.
Okay. No. We can all agree. Okay, you know what? We have list of like celebrity endorsements. All right.
Yeah.
Adidas is the clear leader in cool.
Yes.
Okay.
But every single one of those shoes are runners for the most part.
No.
Well, with the exception
Big
of like,
Sean.
well, I was gonna say with the exception
2
of Big
chains.
Sean's.
2 chains.
Yeah, but you ain't hooping in that.
I don't care about hooping. I'm just talking about
Who
cool.
said hooping?
We're not talking about hooping. We're talking about cool.
He said
Cool.
runners and you said no.
So
something
you don't
else.
think a Kanye could attract anybody athletic wise to
No.
Adidas?
What do
No.
you, what do
Nobody?
you mean?
No.
Like you don't think like
can he bring
you think
the top
you think if Adidas
next
said
year?
Kanye, hey, go sit down with Ben Simmons and have a chat.
And bring him these Yeezys.
Well, we'll see. They got a chance to sign guy who actually might be the #1 pick from Duke. So we'll see.
Ingram.
Ingram might sign with Nike too. And
Now
then there's
a
what do
Nike.
you say?
Now a Future was featured in a Nike commercial recently. All right, which could mean something is on the horizon. Now, does a Drake bring over?
Yeah, but even though Future is like really well known in the fashion world and whatnot, and known for being like one of the best dressed MCs out there, he doesn't have the like. Just one example, I got that whatever the Drake concert that's coming out is, the Views concert or whatever. So if you have American Express, they sent the thing that's like you could buy tickets early before they go on sale to the public.
You bought, Don?
What's up?
You bought?
I'm not.
I looked at
$300
the-
for a ticket. I'm good.
I looked at
How much they are?
the Drake meet and greet thing where you get to, I'm assuming meet him, hang out with him, whatever, and get a backstage pass or whatever was $1,100 for one ticket.
How many did you cop?
Futures.
No,
was,
how many you cop?
Futures was like 500, right?
Yeah, Futures was $475.
Yeah.
So
To
you're
meet
talking
him?
about. Hold on. You're talking about Drake's was 1,100.
Yes, in an interview, and you get to interview him.
Drake's was 1,100. Futures was 475. That's a big
No,
difference.
I saw this package
gigantic.
for like
Drake's regular tickets.
Greg's
like
getting
there was
them
another
now.
level that was more expensive than Futures meet and greet.
It's not just a meet and greet. You
my-
get a bunch of like little things.
My
here
point.
and
My
there.
point is
Like
just
what?
that the
Future
level
Nikes?
of those. The levels of those two guys is not close to being the same.
Not
Like,
even close.
You're saying Future might have a Nike thing. Like, I still want to know who's paying supposedly Wonder Boy, Future Boy. What's his name? Soldier Boy. What? I mean,
That 400 million?
I think it's
400
fake.
million?
You
What
said it was
is
fake.
that?
You said it was fake.
I did.
What
because I
is
saw
that?
on-
He hasn't confirmed
I
it
saw
yet.
on
Who
Twitter it
knows?
was fake.
Hey, let me tell you this though.
I saw it on Complex.
Who's paying him $400 million?
But
And
for
to do what?
I have no idea.
Well,
I
no.
saw that-
Now I will say,
to turn his swag on.
okay, but nobody can deny Soulja's production, his beats, his producing.
For like
what does
a-
that,
for
what
like-
does
not
that
for
do
400
for
million.
For like
400 yeah,
6
what does that do
months.
for a brand? That does nothing.
Soldier Boy's beats were hot for 6 months.
I mean,
LeBron's deal's not even.
I'll give him like 2 months.
Oh no, I don't
Hey,
know, man.
LeBron-
Soulja
I mean,
Boy
LeBron's
beats are
deal
hot.
is not
Boy's
even.
beats are
hot.
hot.
Soldier Boy had I Got Me Some Bathing Apes, and then it went from that to
And he's
That was
one of the
Superman
song,
and he's
and
one
then
of
that
the
was it.
worst dressed people in the industry. Period.
Well, that was during the time, though. I won't say the worst dressed. I mean, during the time when
worst
six,
dressed. Period.
6XTs
Jim Jones
were popping.
number 1B.
Who?
hey, what about
You already
Jordan?
know who Jim Jones.
What
even
about
though you
Jordan?
love
No. Jim Jones is
Cannot
an
dress.
innovator in dressing. All right, he right now it looks
Yes,
crazy.
He showed you
but
how to wear True Religions 8 years
Facts,
ago.
all right.
Congratulations.
and a white beater.
And he's still wearing them in
Hey,
2016.
he showed all hip hop.
Wide legs.
He showed hip hop. He showed hip hop how to wear True Religions,
True Religion white
Ed
legs
Hardy,
in 2016.
Christian
And
Audige,
he's still wearing all that.
belt buckles correctly, the chain from the belt. He showed hip hop how to dress.
Yeah, but he stuck with it too
And he
long.
still wears it.
No, you're right. Right now, he looks crazy. All right, but he's an innovator.
Awful.
He's a staple.
Awful.
All right.
Take it
Now,
easy.
Soldier Boy, he doesn't dress how we would dress. Okay, he wears just like Soldier Boy is one of those cats that just wears
Awful.
expensive stuff. He's just wearing like
No,
the
Gucci
most expensive
belt.
stuff.
Okay.
Louis belt.
No,
But
no.
he looks crazy.
If you
That's
wanted
the
to
problem.
say that, if you wanted to say that, then you would say like your best example for that, or just wearing like expensive stuff, is 2 Chainz, because he
That's a
makes
fact.
the stuff fitted. It looks
I'll admit
right.
that.
It's not sloppy. Soldier Boy's sloppy, and then he wears like a shoe that's probably 12 sizes too big for him, and the pants go in the shoe. That's not
I will
dope
say
on no
that.
level.
Then I
true.
agree with you.
That is true.
Oh, you win this battle.
Do you remember Soldier Boy's shoe?
Which one?
Yums.
Yums. Awful. All right.
Terrible.
But he collected a check.
So terrible. He did.
And the shoes that he has now has lights in them. They're
See,
like
I didn't even know
lights.
he had shoes.
It's a shoe now that has lights in them or whatever. So either way, as far as
Adidas wins.
okay,
celebrities.
celebrity wise, I mean, you got Rihanna, you got
You don't
Rita
even need to
Ora.
say anyone's name besides Kanye. I mean, you could say Pharrell
That's
too,
true.
but that's it.
You can say Pusha T.
But Pusha did good.
Pusha did good.
That first model was popping.
Well, see, okay, this is the thing. The
Who
problem.
knows who Pusha T is besides people who listen to hip hop though? People know Kanye is.
People know Pusha.
Everybody knows Pusha. They might not buy his stuff, but Pusha, we might have to do top 10 rappers at one point because Pusha is in the
well,
top
none of the
10.
people we've named is on that list.
Okay, 2 Chainz is
None
in
of
top 10 rappers, but if you want to say top 10 coolest
None of them-
rappers,
okay.
2 Chainz might be number 3.
No one we've
right.
listed as being
2
top 10
Chainz is just a
MCs.
cool person. Big Sean is a cool person.
I have
Whatever
no
Big Sean
problem-
wears,
I have no problem
you're
with these
right.
people.
But can these people help Adidas athletic division?
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, maybe
don't
Kanye
think
can
so?
because all the players, like
I mean, if
the
you
kids who signed, like last year, I don't know
if
if
you
this
were
year.
like, hey, you signed with Adidas, you're gonna get all the Yeezys. Yeah, maybe
well,
that
they,
would.
well, they
influence somebody.
did do that. The kids who signed with Adidas last year in the NFL draft, I think it was last year or maybe it was NBA last year. They got whatever came out, like the 750, just one, no, 750s or whatever.
No, I need them all.
You
You
gotta
got to
get
give me
them
all, and I'm going.
Maybe they did
to the-
later on down the line, but this was just something that was.
You don't like
draft
Yeezys, huh,
time.
Don?
No, Yeezys are cool. I like them.
So would that?
But who would take? Listen, who
So
would
if
take?
a Big Sean came to talk to you,
Absolutely not. Who would take it seriously that Big Sean plays basketball and say, "Yo"?
it doesn't matter if he plays
No,
basketball.
but no. Listen, if Big Sean says, "Hey, boy, oh God, I got a Yeezy 350 that I can play basketball in. You should play this too." No one's gonna take Big Sean seriously. I would take 2 Chainz seriously because he's 6 foot plus and has played basketball.
Well, yeah, he can hoop.
Big Sean doesn't look
He
like
can
he can
actually
hoop.
I'll tell you what.
all.
If I was in
Well,
college,
Big Sean isn't even big.
If I was in
He's
college-
a medium
Thank you.
Sean.
No,
I would not
he's,
take that
he's
seriously.
smaller than you, Sean, probably.
But no, I met him. He's a little bit. He's skinnier than me.
That's a
He's
skinny
a little
ass
bit
dude.
taller than me.
That's a skinny
I
ass
don't
dude.
know.
But
I
Big
need- I
Sean,
need
to
proof.
me, is the #1 most underrated rapper now.
Okay, well, that's a different conversation.
Different conversation.
if I'm coming
and,
out of college,
and I disagree, by the
if
way.
I'm
but-
coming out of
You're
college,
different, though.
and James Harden and Kanye come to my house, they take me to In-N-Out Burger.
No, James Harden couldn't come. He couldn't come. I think of James Harden.
he's
think,
getting $200 million from Adidas to do what?
and look what you're right. And see, that's the problem that I have with like Adidas. I think Adidas has quality athletes in bad markets. I don't care what a Aaron Rodgers is wearing, but if let's say Cam Newton was in Green Bay, Cam Newton is just cool. Cam Newton out there dabbing in the snow would be tight. All right, you can't say it wouldn't be tight.
What's the difference, though?
Because I think a Cam Newton does help an Adidas Under Armour football just off the basis
no,
of like
but
youth.
I agree
Okay,
with the Cam
now-
Newton point.
now-
I'm saying, what's the difference between Carolina and Green Bay? Like,
I mean, yeah, but like you can make good out of bad. Andrew Wiggins in a Minnesota, you're gonna have to work hard to make somebody pay attention to you and make me say, "Hey, man, let me go sign with Adidas." You have to use your celebrity at Adidas to get athletes. You have to say, "Hey, Kanye, you know what? I'm gonna need you to
well,
go
I
to
mean, they
Louisiana and talk to
should.
Ben Simmons."
Yeah, they-
you should,
they
Ben
should,
Simmons.
but-
Now, Under Armour, you have to say, "Hey, Steph Curry, I need
no,
you to
then
go
just
talk."
gotta pay.
Yeah, but like, is pay? I guess pay is going to be always
It
king.
depends. Who you're
Money
talking
is going to
about.
always be
It
king.
depends what you're talking about.
Money's going to be king. I don't think it matters.
Maybe
then.
Under Armour offered Ben Simmons 125 or 200 or whatever.
True.
We'll never know.
Well, I think we could agree because if Kevin Durant turned down, what was it? They were going to build his mom a community center and give him like ownership stake, I think, and like a grip of
that's
money.
something we probably should have talked about a while ago in this conversation. Is what why? Because that's irrelevant to this and maybe the best point. What happened to him? Why didn't he take Under Armour's deal? Why didn't? Unless they showed him the shoe. Hey,
not
this
cool.
is going to be the KD, and he was put it on and was like, "This is trash."
Don't
That's
care.
the only thing I can
That
think
much
of.
money.
But
Don't
see,
care.
that's the okay.
You could
now,
have given me. I would have played in Crocs for
okay.
the contract. they
Yeah,
were
but
offering
see,
him.
you're thinking. Okay, George
Well,
is
you
thinking.
just said you played in Jordan 29s,
George is
so-
thinking. Jordan 29s is very comfortable.
Very
They're
comfortable.
ugly though. They're
It's
ugly.
probably one of the
They're
best
ugly.
basketball shoes.
Okay, no. Now, see,
it.
but see,
Ever
George,
made. Stop
George is talking performance, and you're talking looks. See, you would go with an Under Armour if it looks tight.
No, I'd go with Under Armour if they
If
gave
it
me
looks
money.
tight.
I think no. I'm talking like
Okay,
give me
no,
money.
okay, let's switch it. You go with Adidas. If Kanye came to you and said, "Ryan Simple, yo, you the #1 point guard in the state. You make a clean jump shot. You worship Steve Nash. We want you to sign with us." You would be like, "Yes, Kanye. Where's the paper at? Facts." It wouldn't matter to you if Kanye came to your house.
He might do something else to
Okay.
Kanye too. No,
Whoa,
now,
whoa.
if Kanye came to your house, George, it wouldn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to you. You don't look at people like that. You're not like enthralled in like the celebrity of
well,
like.
it's different
No.
when you grow up in LA.
If
'cause
I
you
was
see
the
people and
number
you're
one
just
point
like,
guard-
oh, there's some.
I'm
If you're the
signing
number
with
one guard.
Li Ning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm signing with Li
This
Ning.
conversation's over.
I was gonna say on to the next one.
On that, oh, you know what? Another thing which is funny because I added in movies into this list. Now I only added in movies and TV in this list as like product production because there are certain shoes that have made an impact due to their thing in the movie. Now
He got game.
He Got Game became the name of a Jordan sneaker because it was
in the
featured
movie.
in He Got Game.
I don't
Same
know
with
how
Space
many-
Jam.
Yeah,
Same with
I
the
mean,
Space
there's
Jam.
Two, like that's
So
how many-
would you guys say Nike as far as product placement, is the best.
Well, I think
Movie-wise.
again,
Of
I think
course.
it's
Back
it's
to
one
the
of those.
Future, Bruins, and
It's one of those
Mags.
things where you just Nike's more recognizable than anything else. Adidas is probably recognizable, but if someone sees a Puma or a ASIC or I mean, I guess Under Armour now kind of is, but even still, they don't have the.
But
you gotta remember when you have conversations like these. Not everyone collects sneakers for a living, so they don't.
Exactly.
People aren't familiar
But
with a lot of this shit that we're talking about. You know what I mean? This is a specific audience, so.
I'll tell you, if you've seen Back to the Future and
Facts.
and a television, you know what an Air Mag is.
Yep.
You
these
have
are
a Nike.
facts.
Yes.
What I'm saying, if it
no,
was
but I'm
like
saying,
a
like,
Reebok or an ASIC, somebody might not know.
Well,
That's what we're talking about,
Alien
product
Reeboks appeared in
Yeah,
Aliens. The
Nike-
problem is when
Nike
you
is
watch
number one.
Aliens, you didn't realize
Okay, well, they
a
look
Reebok
like-
Aliens was in there.
They look like shin guards.
and
And
they
then they
sold
had-
out. They sold out this week. They sold out
they
this
look
week.
like umpire.
Okay,
And then
so
they had
I think we
what are
could
those ones
agree.
that you had? You have Minority Report.
Yo, them joints is fire, dude. Them joints are 500 at Barney's. All right.
DMX runs.
Yo,
or
them
whatever.
DMX
Nah,
Minority
you
Report.
can get outta
Those
here
are
with that.
specifically made for Tom
I'll
Cruise.
show you the
all right?
door on those.
All right, those is fire flames. All right.
Hey, wear them next
You
week.
said that's the most comfortable
might, but
shoe
they crumble.
ever, and you bought a bunch of them, and then you never wore them.
Okay. First of all,
Am I not right or not right?
okay.
Am I right or-
I didn't say you're wrong. DMX Reeboks were the #1 most comfortable sneaker on earth.
False, but that's all right.
Facts. Then Adidas came with Ultra Boost.
No,
Don,
Nike
I'm
released
telling
at
you,
least three
no.
things that are
Lunar
more
was
comfortable.
always #2 still to DMX to
No,
me.
it wasn't.
Popularity wise, obviously, it's gonna dominate. But it's like if you actually put on a Reebok DMX,
So what
it
is-
was more comfortable.
But it's not even only Lunar with the technology that's in the Roshi run too.
Air technology. It's like a foam bottom and a knit top. Like it isn't like
You also said a Boost was a foam, and it's
okay.
not.
The
It's like
technology in a
shit that
Roshi
NASA
run,
uses.
technology in a Roshi run is just a lunar insole, right?
For the most part, it was
For
the
the most
lunar
part.
insole, and then it
There's
was the
the
actual
outsole.
sock liner itself, or it had like a little massager on the bottom of your foot. So like when you walk, it was almost like it was massaging you. So there is a little more technology than just a basic midsole.
Don, get some boost. All right,
Hey, listen, you asked me. You asked me.
get some boost.
I'm gonna get
all
some
right?
boost for you.
You
And then
have to get.
I'm gonna get some
boost
boost for you, I
all right?
promise.
I promise.
You and Jim Malloy are the last two people in Arizona.
I
that
think-
Yo,
don't
I
have
rock with Jim when I rock with what Jim is saying, but I'll get some boost for you. I promise.
You have to.
I
get
will do
some
it.
You need to
boost.
talk to your boy Simple over here because he's on some Air Force One train recently.
My
I don't know
man.
what's going on with that?
I'm with that. We're
Freakazoid.
gonna talk about when the top 10 come through.
We'll
I
talk
got
about
those
that.
because they were $20.
Okay,
Freakazoid.
Air Force Ones.
All right, let's go. Let's talk about it.
Okay, anyway, so we're gonna agree that
careful what
probably
you say.
we're gonna agree that okay, who do you guys feel is on the rise? Who do you feel is on the rise up?
Under Armour, obviously.
Okay, so you feel Under Armour is Adidas is just not in the competition right now for that.
They
or
are.
Jordan
They
Brand.
they are from a lifestyle perspective, but not a sporting.
Okay.
Not sporting.
But Nike is still on top athletic wise.
Yes.
Nike's on top of everything.
Right.
Normal.
Yep.
All right, we can agree with that.